Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to make sure you know all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on all new episodes of Wade's World, Boob Windows and Long Boxes, our Hard R movie reviews, and so much more, all completely uncensored. Access starts for as little as $1 a month, full videos when you pledge $3 a month. Check us out at the link in all of our show notes, or just go straight to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello, dear listeners. Are you listening? I hope so. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser. A little ray of sunshine in your life. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber of the Burger Pits.
Phil me and Perich.
And father to our lovely announcer, Luca Perich. Is that a new recording? Because he seems... his voice sounds a little deeper in that.
Yeah, I did that a few months ago? Yeah.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Yeah, see that's different, because earlier...
Yeah. Well, that's why
he got very excited at the Capes and Lunatics, and he was getting, and he rushed on that. This one, he's like a little more subdued. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a professional now."
Well, that's
this is the Cape. Yeah, it's good. It's nice to see him growing as an artist.
Oh yeah,
I like that. I like to see these kids growing as artists. So, see, my kids I see grow as artists every day. Your kid I don't get to see every day. So it's nice when I get these little glimpses into Luca Perich's evolution as, one of the next great creators of the 21st century. It's nice to be there at the beginning.
He was forged.
That's all I'm saying.
I know. Well, he just went through the forge of second grade, so yeah, so.
Second grade. I remember it well. I really don't. I barely remember first grade. I barely remember anything of my life except for very key moments that are burned in. I remember aspects of first grade. I know my first grade teacher was Mrs. O'Grady, but like for certain assignments, like my life story, I don't know if that was second grade or first grade. It's one of the two, though, and I told my life story. Fought in a war, went to jail, died at 99. It's probably second grade because I think I made a nasty little cameo in it for a kid I didn't like who was probably younger than me. So I get the feeling that was second grade. So that wasn't Mrs. O'Grady. That was another teacher. Mrs. O'Grady liked me, or Ms. O'Grady, I think. I don't remember exactly. She liked me because my name was Charlie, and she had a adult friend named Charlie who worked in a peanut factory or sold peanuts or something of that nature. I don't know all the details. It was a long time ago. Anyway, Philip, welcome to Superconnectivity, a Capes and Lunatics podcast. Philip, what's going on in the world?
Well, I know you said you gave me a few things you wanted to talk. Oh, the Shang-Chi trailer.
Shang-Chi's trailer! Oh my goodness gracious me. Okay. So, Shang-Chi, a lot of fun. We see there's all kinds of... We see a dragon. It's not Fin Fang Foom, we promise you. Mm-hmm. And Hulk's in Avengers Infinity War. Just like in the trailers, so,
Well, he kind of was. He came out for 2 seconds and said, "No, not coming out."
Yeah, I mean, cool. I mean, we see a honestly, it looks like Falcor. That's my actual, they made him look like Falcor. So, okay. So, Falcor the Luck Dragon is in, Shang-Chi, Mephisto confirmed. It's a water dragon, obviously. It's living underwater. So, it's not like a fire dragon like Kao Lao. But here's where it's interesting. At the very end, we see that there's some kind of cage match because apparently, so here's what I'm thinking the plot is of Shang-Chi. Fin Fang Foom, Water Dragon, Falcor. So Falcor Fang Doom. That's what we're calling him. He's Falcor Fang Foom. Or Falcor Fang Foom if you want. That's fine. Falcor Fang Foom basically only lets a human utilize the 10 rings. And then it says, but only the greatest of your planet can utilize my 10 rings. And so every 50 to 100 years, we got to have a fight from whatever you little monkeys want to do. And so it says, okay, you apes, fight it out. One of you gets to have the 10 rings. Hopefully this time you'll take over the world and like make my job easier. But we'll see. We'll see, because you guys are freaking monkeys, you know. In this, then, we have this big tournament that apparently Shang-Chi must fight in to earn the right to win the 10 ring, or to earn the right to compete against, not Fu Manchu, the Mandarin for the 10 rings. So here's what it gets to, okay? Abomination at the very end is clearly in one of these fates. So why is the Abomination there? Because we know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. he didn't escape. The freezer was one thing Hydra didn't want to deal with. They kept the cooler locked down when they took over S.H.I.E.L.D. So Blonsky, as we know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., was kept in stasis. And we can say everything up to Age of Ultron is MCU canon in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay? Let's not forget that. Okay, everything up to Age of Ultron, when the helicarrier shows up, that is all canon to the MCU. The separation did not occur, if a separation ever did occur, until after that point. Now, he's free because during the snap, he was one of the 50%.
Yep.
Which means when he got snapped back, because we snapped back everybody, he got snapped back to an abandoned S.H.I.E.L.D. facility that was probably built just to hold him and was probably powered down, so he just walked right out.
Yep.
So he's been Blonskying it up across the world, and he has evolved since then, because we do see he now has ear flaps. I believe at least in one screen capture I saw.
Yeah.
He's got the ear flaps now. He didn't used to have the ear flaps. Now he has his ear flaps, which shows that all Gamma beings evolve, which means we may get Joe Fixit eventually in She-Hulk.
I mean, too, though, I mean, it could have been the snaps and stuff, because, I mean, when Professor Hulk puts on the glove, he's like, yeah, I'm built for this, because at least part of this energy signature is Gamma. Mm-hmm. So unless... Oh!
So the gamma cosmic background radiation.
Yeah.
That knocked old Abomination out, brought him back again as a double gamma dose.
Yeah.
And now he's got extra spikes.
Yeah, like in the comics when Ben Grimm got that second shot of cosmic rays and he became a pineapple, yeah. Yeah,
exactly. And now he lives under the sea, inhabited by a sponge. Apparently they're saying that at some point Ms. Marvel got the ability to change back and forth. I don't remember that issue, but we'll see what happens later.
I don't remember that either, because, I mean, unless that was Doom was tinkering with her for a while, but, I mean, I thought he messed her up worse, but...
Yeah, last I remember, well, although, as I've said, the ability to change back to your human form is something the Thing could do, if not for a psychological block.
I was going to say, maybe she went to therapy and dealt with her psychological issues, maybe.
She was hanging out with freaking Wyatt Wing for a while, so, does a couple good sweats. Maybe, gets that peyote-infused, advanced mental health treatment. I'm telling you, man. Stuff like that works, where you just, open up that third eye and say, okay, here's your trauma. How do you want to deal with it? Oh, I want to put that trauma over here. Okay, there. Now the trauma's over there. Okay, great. Hey, I can turn back into human now. That's helpful.
But I just mean, there's so many ways. Yeah, you could just explain the ear flaps on Abomination.
Yeah, but it's cool that he's back. I'm really excited about Shang-Chi. I am still excited about Black Widow. I'm not trying to short sell Black Widow, but I'm very excited about Shang-Chi. Because here's the thing. We know Black Widow's a prequel.
Yeah.
I mean, it may have lots of little Easter eggs for us that we're going to be dissecting until they're made into chickens, you know? Because that's the thing. An Easter egg is great, but we want an Easter chicken. We want to see when it hatches and it becomes a real thing.
Well, I think it's going to give us a new Black Widow, or, you know, whatever we're going to call it.
Well, it's going to give us something. And who knows? I mean, Scarlett Johannson has now publicly said she is done with Marvel as the Black Widow.
Yeah, but did you see, I guess, for Disney, she's starring and producing a Tower of Terror. I think it's a movie, you know, for their ride they have.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah,
I mean,
so now she's producing other stuff for them and starring.
Yeah, I know, and she's got, they're giving her $1 million, and, you know, now she can go play Uncle Vanya if she wants, or she can do more of these things. Huh. You know, it's like we were saying on our previous show, which everyone should be listening to, the Capes and Lunatics podcast. You know, sometimes an artist, you give them enough money, they say, you know, I don't need to do this anymore. And it's really a question, do they want to? And that's the question is, does Scarlett Johansson want to produce, or does she want to act?
Oh, yeah.
Does she want to be a star?
I'm impressed Robert Downey Jr. does anything anymore. I mean, you know how much money that dude has to have?
But he wants to act.
I know. Well, I think he's producing.
That's the thing. It's like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. doesn't need to work anymore.
But he's producing.
But he likes to act.
Yeah, but I think he's like producing stuff too. So, you know, he's helping other people out. I'm like,
well, yeah, you know, I know that, and that's a nice thing to do, and it's nice to give your creative stuff to people as you can. But you know, he's an actor.
Well, at this point, I mean, he's so rich. I think just the name, it's like, oh, Robert Downey Jr.'s behind it. Oh, we'll green like this, you know.
I mean, which is funny because it's like, it wasn't that long ago that he was like, Robert Downey Jr. is attached. No, thank you. You know?
Yeah, they didn't want to put him in that first Iron Man. Now it's like, oh, hey, kid, would you come back and be Iron Man?
Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing. And which is why, and the thing is, what I'm telling you is that ego of an actor, as an actor myself, I will tell you, if someone says, well, could you just come back for just one more scene? Could we do one more thing with you, you lovely little actor? They're like, well, I guess I could do one, or two, or three, or four. You know, that's what we do as actors because we love the spotlight. We love to be the center of attention.
Yeah, but you know, he's not rolling out of bed to be Tony Stark now for, you know, how many million, you know, there's going to be millions on the table for.
At this point, actually, much less so. It's more about the inconvenience of being Tony Stark.
Not true.
So if you want, for example, if you want Tony Stark hologram to show up, I bet you can get that at scale. I will bet you, he's like, yeah, I'll do that for scale. What the heck? I'll keep your budget low. I'm a producer too. You want me to come in and do Tony Stark hologram? You want me to record all my lines and you'll digitally insert me from past footage? Yeah, cool. Let me record all the Riri lines right now.
I was gonna say, just make him the AI in Ironheart's suit. Yeah,
exactly. So honestly, that is super easy. Yeah. Barely an inconvenience.
Oh yeah.
You know, he'll take the money. He'll take the residuals. Thank you very much. You know, his lawyer will cash the checks, and everyone's happy. But you know, you want him to put on the full suit. You know, that's going to cost more. But, you know, if they decide to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And I guarantee you they're going to have them consult on the Tony Stark clone that they create for Teen Tony. Going to find some poor kid that happens to look randomly like Robert Downey Jr. and say, hey, you know who you look like? Robert Downey Jr. Can you act? It's like, not really. Well, we'll teach you. Let's see if we can do this. They're going to find like 20 kids who look like teenage Robert Downey Jr. You're going to teach him to act, and they're going to make him Teen Tony.
Oh.
Hey, it worked in the comics.
Worked in the 90s. Oh, did it? No.
No, they did it in the 90s. I don't know if it worked, but they're still making Iron Man comics to this day, so we'll see.
Well, he went in the Heroes Reborn and came back as adult Tony. That's all I'll say.
Heroes Reborn, yeah. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about Shang-Chi. I mean, I've always been excited about Black Widow.
Yeah. It's just been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's like, oh yeah, her. You know, it's like, you know, it's like anything else with Scarlett Johannson. You know, funnily enough, I was looking at my Facebook memories today because I'm old, and my big complaint this week was, dang, why does Lucy have to have such a stupid plot? I really want to see this film. I really love Scarlett Johansson. Why does Lucy have to have a stupid plot? And for those who don't know, Lucy had a very stupid plot. Because it was about, what if you could use 100% of your brain? Yeah. And Lucy becomes the molecule man, so that's fun. Yeah, it was cute. It was fun.
But this week, Loki episode 3.
Loki episode 3, which is it's actually the shortest episode so far. Mm-hmm. It's a bottle episode. It's all set on Lamentis 1. Mm-hmm. You know, you name a planet Lamentis. What were you waiting for? Really? Really? There was a mining colony and the moon's about to crash into it. And they're only letting the rich people off because why? I mean, really think about that for a moment. It's like, Bezos. Aren't we an interstellar race? Can't we just, like, send a bunch of space taxis to get everyone off the planet? How many billions of people are on this planet that we can't just get everyone off in a bus, you know?
I don't know.
And even then, they don't send the bus, and they don't send the ship until the very end. And it's like, I got hit by a meteor, which actually just shows you that really what it was this was a company town, it was poorly managed, and they were saying, well, you know, we wait till the very last minute, it'll be cheaper. We'll save like 1 billion credits if we just wait to the last minute. And well, but what if it happens faster than we think? It's like, well, you know, they say it won't. They say it might not. So, you know, we'll just wait till the last minute. It's like, you know, the odds of one of the meteors hitting our ship specifically, that's really unlikely.
Middle management, yes.
Yeah. You know, so that's that. I like the old lady. The old lady is probably my favorite character in that episode.
They shot him, yeah.
Because for what it's worth, she's waiting to die. Obviously, her husband is dead at this point.
I know. She's like, he never talked that nice to me his whole life.
Yeah, it's like, really? Come on, dude. For honest, you know. But it's Loki. He don't know no better. Mm-mm. And Sylvie, who is Lady Loki, who is, I guess, the daughter of Laufey, because they call her Loki. They call her Sylvie Laufey's daughter in some stuff. You know, there's some. I don't know. The people that have time to go through these things, you see in this piece of paper that we've zoomed in, zoom in and enhance. Zoom in and enhance. Yeah. It says Sylvie Laufey's daughter. You know, Sylvie Laufey's daughter is which is interesting that they call Loki Laufey's son, not Odin's son. Even though he took on the name Odin's son. He's always been an Odin's son, and he's legally an Odin's son. I mean, if you really want to get to it, he's legally an Odin's son. He's not a Laufey's son. So for the TVA to call him Laufey's son, it's they're not respecting his pronouns, they're not respecting his name. They're showing all kinds of disrespect, which is how you know they're the villains.
Mm. Oh, we got a big revelation about TVA this time.
Oh yeah, all the TVA agents are in fact in this continuity.
Variants.
At the time of this recording, variants. Which I believe Screen Rant made a point, well, not Screen Rant, Screen Crush made a point that his theory is that essentially Sylvie Laufey's daughter was taken by the TVA as a baby because she wasn't the right Loki. The right Loki was male and this Loki was female and was essentially raised by the TVA. And when she says they told her she was adopted, she is saying the TVA told her that she was adopted, whereas Loki says, they never told me I was adopted, meaning the Odin and Freya never told me I was adopted. But here's the fun fact. Mephisto confirmed. She says she remembers her mother in little bits and little memories, meaning she remembers Freya, which means if Freya was her mother, then that means Freya got busy with Loki.
I'm thinking she...
I'm saying they're gonna do it, Phil. It's all the signs are pointing to Freya is Loki and Sylvie's real mom.
I think she's from the multiverse. They tried to mess with her mind, and either her timeline's gone, or or they're just trying to kill her because they don't want the people to know about the existence of the multiverse, because they're saving the sacred timeline. Which why they're saving the sacred timeline, right?
Well, for Kang.
I was going to say, this is the timeline that creates Kang, so...
Well, this is the timeline that creates Kang...
As he wants to.
Ramatut, and Immortus. Those are the three timekeepers. Those are the three versions of Kang that we must maintain. So we are all from each other's timeline. We must maintain our timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the sacred timeline is in this story.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. But to me, we see that Loki's, which we saw last episode, Loki's have a unique habit of violating the sacred timeline because they are mischievous.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we're apparently supposed to get Zeus, and I do wonder if that's going to be Zeus or Zuras. In Thor Ragnarok.
Love and Thunder. Yeah, I forget which. Thor, Love and Thunder. I thought they said it was Zeus, unless they're pulling it.
They've said it was Zeus. That doesn't mean it is Zeus.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they went.
That's the thing. Here's what I'm saying is, Eternals is coming. Zuras is the head of the Eternals, and Zuras is who we don't see in the Eternals.
Or unless they're just like, oh yeah, Zuras got around. He got around. He was stooping women up here as Zeus. He was elsewhere as Zuras.
Well, that's what they've said, is that, essentially, as I remember from my old Marvel handbook days, the handbook to the Marvel Universe, essentially when the Eternals and the Olympians first met, they realized that Zuras and Zeus looked pretty much exactly alike. Because, it's comic books, so identical people is real common. Because, most artists only have like 6 faces that they know how to draw. And they just draw those faces on everybody. That's why John Byrne's Reed Richards and John Byrne's Superman, same dang face. And Wyatt Wingfoot with just a slightly different nose. But that's a whole other story. And his hair is more slicked back. But getting back to the story we were discussing, what were we discussing? Yeah, so Zuras, Zeus, I don't know. I wonder if they're going to do anything with the Greek pantheon beyond Zeus, because there is an Athena, there is a Venus, who fought a gentleman. Oh, what was his name? Loki, which we'll be talking about in our special Loki episodes of Capes and Lunatic Superconnectivity.
Next episode.
Coming soon to a computer near you. So I see, I'm tying it all in. I'm connecting it, Phil. But yeah.
But I mean, so you might have a connection to the Thor movie, and then this is, everything, this and WandaVision's supposed to be tying into Doctor Strange. But if this is headed towards Kang, we're also going to tie in the Quantum Mania, too.
Well, exactly. This is the thing. It's all going to tie in together. And for what it's worth, we do hear that Sylvie says she learned her enchantment power on her own. That's like her only magic, but it's one she has learned. It's one she taught herself, which shows she did not have Freya in her life. Which is why I think Screen Crush is right about her being stolen by the TVA as a baby. But one thing we'll see about it is it follows that same process that the Scarlet Witch uses, just with green magic instead of red. And it is interesting in the idea that if she is a self-taught witch, that means the magic is within her, which means that, like Freya, again, it's one more thing that says this is how you have it because you are really the child of Freya, who was a witch. This is the thing. This is in the Marvel Universe, as we see, witch is kind of hereditary. like the mutant gene, it passes on generation to generation. If you are a witch, then you can give birth to witches, which is why Loki can have magical powers, because his mother Freya had the magical powers, as does Sylvie. They're going to do it. I've said it for years. They're going to do it because at some point someone realized no one ever talks about Freya's or Loki's mom. And the fact of the matter is that it didn't just spring fully formed in my head that Freya had been captured by Loki. That's somewhere. If it's not in Norse myth, it's in Marvel Comics myth. Freya was captured by the Frost Giants. So it all makes sense in continuity. Anyway, yeah, so they're stuck on a planet about to die. But you know why he's going to be fine? Phil?
Why?
Well, those who have listened to last episode's Full Stream Ahead, as well as Enough Said, know that Loki was well aware that the TVA had his temporal aura on file. And because they had his temporal aura on file, they can track it anywhere. So when he ran through that door...
Yeah, they're coming for them.
Well, he knew they could track him. Now, he wasn't expecting them to wind up at the TVA. But when they wound up at the TVA, he followed the plan. And he and Sylvie followed to the next spot. But, what's his name?
Mobius?
Mobius already knows to look in apocalypses. So he says, look in an apocalypse. Look for Loki's signature. And when they show up to arrest Loki, he's going to go, oh no, I knew you'd follow me. That's why I went, because I knew you would never be able to track her if you didn't know where I went. Because I knew I could be tracked, you see. And we're only we're halfway through, but you know Loki's going to pull a double cross and a triple cross. You know. Anyway. Yeah, that's Loki. You want to talk comics, Phil?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to Heroes Reborn. We talked about it a little bit.
Heroes Return, number 1.
Heroes Return. Yeah, why call it Heroes Reborn? See, I didn't get a title. I hate when they do that. They give me a variant cover. It's nice. It's a Captain America variant cover. But it's like it doesn't say what the. Oh, here it is. Heroes Return. It's on the back. I hate that. You know, because it's like, no, I wanted what I wanted, and it's not what I wanted, but that's okay. And what's weird is it feels like there should be, like, issues in between these. Like, this was meant to be, like, a universe-wide event that they just said, nah. Because they come in, and it's like we're all in the middle of the fight. And I kind of feel like they left money on the table with this, because I kind of feel like this was a really engaging story that, had they really made it a universe-wide crossover, would have been really engaging.
I mean, it's modern comics. It's like, oh, hey, we're going to give you all the talking, but hey, some of the fighting took place off panel. It's like, really? Yeah,
well, remember, what was it? It was House of M.
Yeah.
And every book, House of M. And no book is Heroes Reborning. So it's like, you know, I kind of feel like it was a missed opportunity. I get why.
I mean, we got basically a weekly Avengers book for the last.
Yeah, I mean, basically what it is I think had there been no COVID, you would have gotten that full. You know, you just like right now we're still doing that freaking Infinity. Oh, all the Infinity gems are in people now thing.
Yeah,
which I had freaking forgot about. It's like, no, we had that other story about the Infinity Gems are in all the people. It's like, yeah, we have this story. And I kind of feel like I think this would have been the better story to do as a company-wide crossover than the Infinity Gems are people. Because, not for nothing, Infinity Gems are people is a story you could do at any time. This is a very time-specific story. But anyway, so we get to this. They're all fighting, yada, yada, over Wakanda. Starbrand and Phoenixes versus Wonder Woman, and Blade is fighting Nighthawk. Honestly, it's fight, you know, until we get to the end. We got a little cosmic cube, infernal cube, the pandemonium cube, if you will. which is interesting because it suggests, is there a diabolical Beyonder involved? Is there a universe where the Beyonder's opening went to Mephisto's universe?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because this seems that this is Mephisto's deal, but yeah.
Well, because cosmic cubes,
yeah, they're like
exist as essentially
cosmic.
Yeah,
they evolve into cosmic beings. Yeah.
Well, again, so now this is my theory. So you can do with it as you may, but regardless, the Beyonder comes from a universe where the Beyonder is all things. Mm-hmm. It is all time, all space, and it is nothing. It is one thing that has always existed. And then when the accident happens at Owen Reese's lab, it essentially opens the portal to this universe, which pulls a bit of the Beyonder into Owen Reese. Now, of course, what we learn is that cosmic cubes are accessing this beyond, and these cosmic cubes evolve into beings that are like the Beyonder, but within this entire concept, there's also the Beyonders, multiple beings. But as I've said, once a unified universe comes in contact with a multiverse, then all of those Beyonders split, which would explain why the Beyonders needed to destroy the multiverse so they could go back to being one Beyonder.
And as we see at the end of this, there's 616 Mephistos. So, I mean, any one of them could have pulled a cube from their universe.
Well, exactly. This is the thing, and it's interesting that there's 615 Mephistos on two levels. One is because those who study know 616 is the actual number of the beast, not 666. Mm-hmm. But more to the point, it means that this is the last universe formed with a Mephisto, and he's not asking Mephistos from 617 on up, because we know they go into 4 digits. Mm-hmm. He's not asking any of those Mephistos to join, because he's looking at the effectively simpler universes so that he is at the most complex universe. Which makes me wonder if larger Mephistos will come into this. If the ultimate Mephisto might show up. And as I said, there is a reference to this in Superior Spider-Man, because while Mephisto is making his deal with Otto, he expressly says he can't do anything against this Osborn because his soul is owed to the Mephisto of his universe. Mm-hmm. So right there we see the legalistic relations between the Mephistos of the multiverse. So assuming any of that is even real, because I also read Amazing Spider-Man this week, and I have no idea what's happening.
No.
Oh, the multiple jack-o'-lanterns. I'm like half wondering. I'm wondering what to believe anymore. And again, it's like I know I have this weird idea of Clum being just like half of me is thinking, oh, I think Clum was pretending to be Mephisto and just cloned Otto a new body.
Well, I don't know if they're speeding up the story too, because Nick Spencer is leaving now with issue 74. So
yeah, I don't know, but it's weird, and I'm coming into these things sometimes, and I'm like, wait, what happened last issue? Because it just seems like they're jumping into a lot of action, and didn't we get like Ned is possibly evil thing last issue? I remember Ned being maybe a little evil last issue, so
I mean,
I'm caught a little flat-footed here.
I mean, they never come out and say he's evil, but I mean, yeah, I don't think everyone's just assuming, because, I mean, if he's not Kindred, I mean, I think they're hinting around that maybe he made some kind of deal with Kindred or something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And Otto brings back the original Electro.
Oh, was there Did I miss that aspect of the story?
There was like 2 pages at the end. Yeah, like.
Is there a new Electro?
Well, there was a female Electro because like Max Dillon had died, but I guess
Oh, that's right. I thought he got better. I'm sorry.
Well, but yeah, Otto's like, yeah, they said you were gone forever, but that is not your nature. You exist all around us. Yeah, he basically uses a machine to, I guess, pull.
Well, he has electricity.
Electricity back together.
Yeah, I mean,
we got a sinister war coming.
Wasn't Otto part of the intelligentsia? Or was he not? I can't remember now because I remember there was a whole thing about how they pulled people back together who had their atoms dissipated.
And does he remember that after Superior Spider-Man?
I don't know. But either way, either he figured it out, maybe he taught himself because he's just that good because he's Otto.
That's right.
Can I talk about a really Fantastic Four life story?
I knew that's where you're going. Yeah. Good.
Okay, so I really would rather read Unstable Molecules than this. Because Unstable Molecules, for what it's worth, kept the core characters. Mm-hmm. This is rushing, and it's... I mean, they don't even,
I guess they want it to be different, but it's,
Well, but nothing's even... It's good to be different, but it's better to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reveal with Sue's with Namor, where did that come from?
Well, I guess because Reed just ignores her. I have to prepare for the coming of Galactus, even though it's been at least a decade. It's like I haven't seen no Galactus. So is Reed insane or something? Is that going to be the reveal? Like Reed's crazy?
No, because Galactus is. We know Galactus is real, but honestly, it's just so bad. Mm-hmm. It's really disappointing because it clearly who wrote this.
Oh, this is.
I hope it's not somebody I like because I'll be
Mark Russell.
Who's Mark Russell?
I'm not sure.
Well, he doesn't like Fantastic Four comics. That's one thing I know.
Oh my.
So he was not a guy to get to write a Fantastic Four comic because he's like, well, I hate those characters, so I'll write a book that just shows how much I hate them. And by the way, they should not be a family, and they should be stupid and lame and petty and angry, and I don't like any of it because it's stupid because I'm Mark Russell and I'm cool. Mark Russell, you suck. And you suck forever, Mark Russell.
Yeah,
I hope you have a good story someday.
I mean, forget a family. It doesn't even seem like they're a team for the most part.
Okay, fair enough, Tristan. Tristan pointed out I don't know Mark Russell as a person.
Yeah.
He may be a great person. He may love his family and all those things. And he may be great in every aspect of his life. He made a very bad comic. 2 very bad comics, Tristan. 2 very bad comics. He's probably going to make at least 2 more before this.
Like if this had been anyone other than Fantastic Four, it would have been an okay story. But just because it's them, it's like, yeah, no, this isn't them.
Well, because here's what I'll say. Like I said, I didn't read Spider-Man Life Story. So maybe Spider-Man Life Story totally just screwed up all his relationships and didn't care about what happened. Maybe in that one, him and Mary Jane just don't even have a relationship. I don't know.
There were some dark points, but it was nowhere near this negative.
Yeah, because it's like, and I get that Ben Grimm was kind of a negative foil at the start of it, and I get that. But there was never an aspect where he wasn't on the team.
Yeah.
There was never a thing where Johnny Storm knows a test pilot. And that's the thing that I think that more than anything else is what gets me about it. Mm-hmm. Then the introduction of Namor at the end of it, it was just weird. Because we don't even get a fight with Namor. We don't even get any stories with Namor. Just like, no, she's left him for Namor, which just seems... It seems very Mr. Nimbus-y for those who watch Rick and Morty, which I know does not include Phil. But it just seems like, what? It's very much out of the blue. It's very much manufactured. And I know from our history with it, that's the case. But here's what I'll say. Oh, and also they do no, that was actually in Heroes Reborn. No, that wasn't this one, right? Where Wakanda's all like very angry and gives the vibranium to someone to make someone go away. And
yeah. The claw.
Which is weird that, like, okay, why are we...
Yeah, because
why are we being mean to Wakanda in this?
Well,
it's like,
because Black Panther gives it the claw, and he's like, oh, this is going to pay off so and so's debt. This is going to pay off all of Africa's debt, and then he's like, it's like, oh,
why did you make it into a shield?
Yeah, they're probably just going to make it into a stupid shield.
Which, and again, it's fine, but it's just, it is so, there's no depth to the story. I don't know who this Mark Russell guy is, but I am not impressed by him. I'm probably stopping after this. It's definitely off the pull list, so I'm going to let him know now, at least, that, drop this on the pull list, because I don't need another issue of this. It's like, whatever they're going when Galactus comes, it's like, yeah, I've read much better Dark Fantastic Four stories. I've read lots of Fantastic Four stories. None have been this bad. And I've read a lot of bad Fantastic Four stories. And this is written by a guy who doesn't understand the characters, doesn't understand who they are or what they're doing, doesn't understand relationships in the basic sense. I will be surprised if he has I don't want to say that, but I'll be surprised what his relationship status is. It's really sad how bad this story is. So, that's not a good book in my opinion. Anyway, Phil.
I was just trying to look up Mark Russell.
Yeah. You're going to tell me that he wrote like some book I love with all my heart, and I'll be like, oh man, he wrote that and he wrote this. That don't make no sense.
I'm on his Twitter right now. His description is writer of the comics like The Flintstones, Snagglepuss, Second Coming, and Fantastic Four Life Story.
You see, now Flintstones and Snagglepuss I never read, but I really wanted to because I heard they were good. But you know what? I don't have the attachments to those characters, and those were intentional reimaginings of these characters in certain genres.
Mm-hmm.
Not what would these characters be like if they lived in real time. So essentially this is much more an unstable molecule story than a Fantastic Four life story. So within that context, I guess it makes sense, except he's trying to cover too much in too little time. And
it's so weird because they did the one thing they did do in here that they did in Spider-Man Life Story 2 is Captain America going to Vietnam. Everyone seems to love that thing about him going to Vietnam if he wasn't frozen.
Well, he actually was unfrozen during Vietnam, and he didn't go to Vietnam. So clearly you're stupid and don't read comic books. And you should probably go and put your head in water to wash your nonsense out.
Oh my.
Not your whole head. You make sure you can breathe, kids. Bring a snorkel. But, no, it's like Captain America wouldn't go to Vietnam because, first off, after Korea, he would go to Vietnam. No, he's gonna know what happened in Korea.
Why not? I mean, they only do a panel or two of it here, but in Spider-Man Life Story, I know he was all against the war because he was butting heads with Iron Man because he's like, no, we shouldn't be there, and
Oh, so in Spider-Man, they actually kept the character consistent.
Yeah. Because
he was alive in Vietnam and he didn't go to Vietnam.
Yeah, because Tony Stark was set. Well, he went over eventually, but it basically to try to get everyone out of there because Tony Stark was selling munitions to the army and stuff, and Cap's like, no, you're killing guys. No, this war needs to end. We need to get these boys home.
Yeah. Well, exactly, because honestly, communism is a blight, and any fascistic nation, no matter how they handle the economics, it's irrelevant. But good Lord, so in this, it's just bad. Yeah, it really bugs me because it's just not a good story. Anyway,
it's very depressing.
There was a lot of bad stories by Marvel this week.
Oh, my.
Well, I won't say they're bad stories. There's actually good stories that have bad moments. Reptil is a good story.
Ooh.
With a lot of lore building that slows it down.
Ooh.
I like Reptil. They're really telegraphing something that is you know, and it's kind of these things where we're like, oh, you know, that's this. I'm not going to even go into it because it's literally this character is clearly that character. And why are we not talking about that? Oh, because so the story can happen. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's that. It's a good character story. It's nice. It's very, you know, there's a word I want to use I don't think is the right word, and that's my problem, so I don't want to talk about it. But there's a way that they talk about things that it's like, well, that's very heavy-handed. Mm-hmm. And I get what they're trying to say, and I'm not going to say that it's not a realistic story, but it's like, whoa, that's a lot of info dump to give in this scene. And basically, again, kind of like it's a lot of info dump in this scene. So here's all the story. Now we'll get back to telling kind of more comic book stories. But this is the context, just so you all have the context. So the first one is kind of like a traditional story. This is the sort of filler. This is our Lamentus story, where here's all of the backstory, so you guys know what's going on, and then we're going to get back to the regular story. So, but I like it. I do like Reptil. I do like Gamma Flight.
Oh, yeah.
I love Gamma Flight. Actually, it's really a cool story.
I want to read that. I haven't read it yet. Was it good? It was good.
It has problems. I mean, the body horror is not cool.
Well, is that still Al Ewing writing that? Or is that somebody
else? Well, I mean, that's the artist. But yeah, whoever it is.
The writer, Al Ewing.
I mean, yeah, Al Ewing. But, you know, he don't draw the pictures.
No, but I'm just saying, it's him still telling the story, or is it in a different
Yeah, it's him still telling So the body horror, it's like, at a certain point, the body horror and really, I kind of feel like that's kind of this weird thing with, because I have a scene with, Rick Jones playing video games. His head is just sort of dangling off. Like, and it's like, at this point, it almost looks camp. And it looks like a Toxic Avenger special effect. Where it's like, you don't even get the body horror of it anymore. It's just like, oh, that's a thing. And there was one super maudlin thing where, you know, because, you know, as we know, we do have our trans character in here. And Samson, who's in Langowski's body, is trying to say, well, you know what it's like to feel like your body's unnatural. And she's like, my body's not unnatural, okay? Your problems are your problems. So that was a little, again, heavy-handed. And the way the artist drew it was very, I am not this! And she runs out of the room, which was very weird. But aside from that, those two bits, that the body horror is becoming campy, and the artist did a little heaven forfend kind of drawing. The dialogue isn't bad, and the story is very good. The story is really good, especially with the Absorbing Man Titania storyline. It's because apparently, I guess the Absorbing Man is actually still married to someone. I'm guessing that nurse that he captured that one time, because they say, "Oh, she doesn't have. I'll have to leave my current wife." He says, "That's okay." He says, "Well, she'll understand. She's nice and she has a sense of humor." He says, "Well, she's nice. She's smart and she has a sense of humor." He says, "Well, she's smart anyway." It was good, but yeah, it was not the best. It was not the best book, but it was not the worst book, because that was Fantastic Four Life Story. That was the worst book. That's the bar by which everyone else is judged. And after Connor Hawk and Damien's little tete-a-tete talking about their dad's fetishes, the bar was low. And it got right under it, like Hermes Conrad.
I just wanted to mention real quick, Guardians of the Galaxy 15.
I wanted to read that. I did not get the chance.
Oh my. Star-Lord and Nova go to the Sword satellite, basically the whole diplomatic thing, but then I don't know, Nova's already on edge because he's like, Emperor Hulkling has us working with Super Skrull. Hey, Star-Lord, you invited Doom to work, join us last issue, and now he's like, he has to shake hands with Magneto, and he's like, no, because they go into the thing from Captain America Annual 4 when Magneto's like, yeah, I thought, these, I found these beings. I thought they were mutants. Then but then they died. And Nova's like, yeah, because they weren't mutants. They were like Shi'ar sub-guardians or something. He's like, so basically you messing around with them killed them. So then we just get fight, but these two just tear it up, and then eventually they come to terms. And you know one of the things they come to terms with, like Nova's like, yeah, now we got to work with Dr. Doom, and Magneto's like, yeah, I wouldn't trust him, and Nova's like, yeah, me neither. So they basically come to the terms over, oh yeah, Doom's a horrible person and a college dropout.
Freaking dropouts.
Everyone's just
nobody likes him.
Everyone's
not
just
really a doctor,
basically just like, I hate Doom. Yeah, me too.
One thing we can say about supervillains is they're pretty much uniformly bad at their jobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
but then because they've been keeping
even Otto, because his job was not to drop the freaking control rods.
Yeah.
And he did, and that had one bad day. Otto Octavius is one bad day.
And then the next big space event's the last annihilation, because Ego, the living planets, but was like behind this like black spheres like surrounding it. Well, they revealed someone has co-opted Ego's form. Charlie Esser, you know who it is? Dormammu.
Oh, Dormammu. Did Ego, the living planet, come into that whole Galactus in the mystical realm thing?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. But yeah, I know that they said there was like a big black sphere around Ego, and now it cracks. And
yeah.
It's
because I do remember that was a whole thing where some amateur magician banished Galactus to the dark dimension. He's like, and
Doctor Strange,
who had the whole thing. Like, do you have any idea how much that makes life hard? I saved my planet, dude. I really don't care how hard it makes it for you. It's like, no, it's bad for the universe. That's where your stuff is. It's like, yeah, but you know what? In like 1,000,000 years, it's bad for the universe. Is he going to come back next week? He's got a whole universe to eat.
And I just love now they're teasing like the deaths of like Doctor Strange and Peter Parker in the comics, and people online are like, why are they killing them off? And everyone else is just like, because they're going to bring them back all big, in big oversized books when their movies come out. Don't you know nothing?
Yeah. They're not going to kill Doctor Strange.
Not for long. No.
I mean, honestly, not for nothing, they've barely killed Monaco, the Prince of Magic.
Because they're talking about a new Sorcerer Supreme in the comics. I'm like, didn't we just do this with Loki like 2 years ago?
What did they do? Like, they do that every couple of years.
I know. It's like, didn't we just do this with Loki like 2-3 years ago?
Well, didn't we do this with Brother Voodoo a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, they bring. Well, this is the first time where Stephen Strange is quote unquote dead.
Picture, yeah.
But quite frankly, he's not even Sorcerer Supreme in the MC2 universe.
Yes,
he's back to his blue cape in the MC2 universe, if you remember.
Yeah.
That's
why we had to get Doom off planet, so he doesn't try to be Sorcerer Supreme.
God, he would be such a bad Sorcerer Supreme. He would be the worst Sorcerer Supreme.
He asked Quill and them to babysit him. We don't need him being Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, why don't you just take care of this guy? We'll make sure it's his real self, not his robot. We'll make sure.
Make him pretend he's being important. Yes, yeah.
Well, for real, I honestly think that's 90% of what they do with Doom.
Did you
his
imagine?
Little country. I think there's like a whole group that's okay. Doom, he has his country, right? Yeah. So how do we just make him feel important? Because we don't want to have to murder the guy. Because if we screw it up, it's going to cost the whole planet.
Whenever he or one of his robots just show up, just pretend, go, oh my, that's scary.
Yes, Dr. Doom, he's so scary. Hey, you know who had good books this week?
Who?
Not Marvel or DC.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to talk Nuclear Family real quick.
Okay.
Last issue. Man, this is a Twilight Zone episode written over 5 issues. And you don't realize it's like a really great Twilight Zone episode until the last scene. And it's like, oh, I don't want to ruin it because I want everyone to pick up Nuclear Family 5. I really want you to pick up 1 through 5 if you can at your local store. But it basically comes down to this whole thing at the end where it's like, oh, this was all a thing, and man, that is brilliant. I see what you did there. I like what you did there. I like how you tied it into this other thing in a person's past where it's like, wait, what happened? It's beautifully drawn. It's brilliantly written. This is probably my favorite book this week. Nuclear Family number 5 is my pick of the week. Bitterroot, this was a building issue, but it was very entertaining. Because it's a bunch of flashbacks and flash forwards going through everybody's turmoil over, and I get the feeling there's going to be a thing where it's like the world we know isn't the world that happened, where there was this magical destruction of the world that kind of gets fixed in the end, and we only have these memories, but we have memories of the riots and the massacres, but not the monsters that are behind it. That there's still the monsters there, that is the darkness in human souls, and it's really brilliant. It is beautiful. It's a filler issue, like I said, so it's not as gripping as a final issue the way that Nuclear Family is, but it's a really good issue. If you're not reading Bitterroot, please do. Don't be flat-footed when the movie comes out. I hope to God they don't ruin it with the movie. And last book, I didn't get to finish it, is Homesick Pilots, number 6. I thought they were calling it the Nuclear Bastards next week. Apparently, Nuclear Bastards is the code name for the robot they're using. It's good. I haven't finished it yet, but I really like the way that they're characterizing everyone. And I love the idea about weaponizing ghosts. So if you want a book about weaponizing ghosts, Homesick Pilots is the book for you. Give me some books, Phil, if you have anything you haven't talked about yet that you want to get to, that people need to know about.
No, I'm good, because Lilith and I are going to talk some Spider-Man and Batman tomorrow, so I'm good.
All right, then. You know what, Phil? You don't got anybody to spawn right now, but there's still a lot of comics to read and a lot of stories to tell and stuff we didn't talk about here that our fans are saying, why are you not talking about this most important thing, this connection that you have all missed, you idiots? How can they talk to you about that, Phil?
If you want to talk to me or anyone on the team, you can always email capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And you can find links to all of our social media, YouTube, Patreon, merch, everything we do at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And you kind of mentioned it a little before, but yes, Charlie Esser is going to be on his world tour again for the next 2 weeks. So the next 2 episodes of Superconnectivity we're recording ahead of time. Next time, we're doing a deep dive on Loki. So if you want some more background on Loki. And then in 2 weeks, you'll hear our background all about the Time Variance Authority. So if you really want to know about them, yeah, stay tuned.
Yes. And just to be clear, this is so Phil can have some time off, not me. I was willing to do 2 podcasts from my hotel room, but Phil was like, no, I actually have a family I want to spend time with. I'm like, no, this is my escape from my family. It's like, no, I want to spend time with my family. You go do you. So, I kid. I actually love my family very much. But, yes, we are going to be doing these deep dives, and I'm very excited about it. We're going to review Venus issue 9, I believe it is. The first appearance in Marvel Comics, Atlas at the time, of Loki. And we're going to look at his evolution. Then we're going to talk about TVA and the nonsense they unleash.
Hey, this helps me out because Lilith didn't want to do any Loki episodes or TVA episodes.
Oh
so
my gosh, this is amazing, honestly. And we're going to tie it into the show because I'm there and we're watching it, and it's exciting. I just want to know how Jarvis is the one BA who survived the MC television to say, you stay away from me. I work here and I'm not leaving. Or we'll bust you with a freaking tea tray if I have to. Okay. Moving right along. Hey, kids, if you want to write to me in the old-fashioned email way, the way our moms and pops once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet things when I feel like it, like Legends of Tomorrow, if I remember to do so and I don't fall asleep, @CharlieSR. That's CharlieEssser. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. Hey, and make sure you tune into Nuff Said and over on the Southgate Media Group Network and Full Stream Ahead here on here on the Capes and Lunatics Network, where me and Maz talk the great show Invincible, if you're not watching it or not, and of course that great show Loki over on Disney Plus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Superconnectivity. I certainly hope you've learned something, connected something, maybe created your own fan theory. If so, please come back again next time and super connect with us again. Good night.
Good night.
That was a fun episode.
Oh, yeah.
I hate when we go over an hour, though.
Like the last one. It's like a couple minutes. Not like
I know. I want this to be the short episodes that people enjoy on the train.